Hey everyone, welcome back to the Essentials channel. So today the project that we'll be covering is actually Zyon Grand. Probably one of the last few developments that's coming out in 2025. We still have Faber residences to cover as well as the Sand, but today this is likely the last CCR property or the Central Region property that is going to be launching in 2025. This is the much anticipated Zyon Grand. I've actually got a glimpse of the development as well as the architect briefing. It's beautiful, it's exciting, and it really lives up to the name of CDL and of course its reputation in luxury properties. So if you like our content so far, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Contact me at 94569398. Since the last video, actually another 3 more of you audiences out there reached out to me. Keep coming here as I want to engage in a very hearty conversation with you, and most importantly to share my knowledge with you. My knowledge extends far beyond whatever that we show in YouTube here, and I want to be sharing that with you. So remember to like, share and subscribe as you keep me motivated to continue creating wonderful content like this. So as always, in a project review, we will follow the usual framework. Number 1, rapid fire information. Number 2, floor plan and site plan analysis. Number 3, why I will not buy Zyon Grand. Number 4, why I will buy Zyon Grand, a possible price prediction, followed by the final verdict. So as always, we will always begin with a pun. Will this be Zyon or be Zy off? So let's head into the project review. Right, so this is the rapid fire information. First of all, it is CDL MFA Altair Property Private Limited. It's a joint venture between CDL and Mitsui Fudosan Group. Right, it has 2 blocks with 62-story residential development and 1 tower of 36 long-stay apartments with restaurants, supermarket, and an early childhood development center. It is in District 3 with the address 3 and 5 Kim Seng Road. Tenure, it is a 99 leasehold starting from July 2024. The expected vacant possession is September 2032. I think it will be earlier, probably in 2030 or 2031. Approximately sitting on a 15,277 square meters of land with 706 units. Total number of car park lots, 595 lots. Here is the unit distribution. 1 bedroom plus study, 474 square feet, 59 units. 2 bedroom, 538 square feet, 59 units. 2 bedroom premium, 646 square feet, 59 units. 2 bedroom premium plus study, 721 square feet, 118 units. 3 bedroom, 818 units, 59 square feet. 3 bedroom deluxe, 861 square feet, 118 units. 3 bedroom premium plus study, 1055 to 1076 square feet with 116 units. There's actually 3 types of 4 bedroom: 4 bedroom premium, 4 bedroom supreme, 4 bedroom supreme plus study. Who uses this kind of names nowadays? But never mind. 1421 square feet, 1518 square feet, and 1615 square feet respectively, 40, 40, and 18 units. 5 bedroom supreme with private lift, 1819 square feet, 18 units, and of course the penthouses. 5 bedroom with a private lift, 2659 square feet to 2756 square feet, only 2 units. So we have 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms with a composition of about 83%, followed by the 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms about 17%. Now if we shift a little bit of the 3 bedrooms downwards to the homestay demand area, we'll probably see another 293 units constituting to cater to the homestay demand. Alright, so actually based on the composition and the unit distribution that we are seeing, we are actually looking at about 58% belonging to cater to homestay demand units. So actually I think this time around CDL also sees something within this area as well, and they are trying to cater to an audience that probably the previous launches weren't able to cater to. And actually that is exactly why I was so excited to see Zyon Grand coming out very soon. Actually I think they were very patient. They did not get into the 4 or 5 corner that there was happening actually a few months ago amongst the central area project launches. Now we can also understand why, because the emphasis for Zyon Grand is actually on the homestay demand unit, just like Sky at Holland as well. So we can see from here now suddenly the developer is shifting its focus onto homestay demand units. I think this is a very good move, because I was getting a little bit concerned with the new River Valley Township, but there isn't that many homestay units being catered to the homestay demand. You got River Green actually all going to the other spectrum, where it's focusing on small units so that it keeps the quantum low and the affordability high. catering to a lot of the first-time buyers. We've got Promenade Peak itself, where they only start the homestay units, 4 bedrooms and 3 bedroom premiums from the 40th floor, and that also limits the number of units that they have for homestay, and it sets a little bit of the benchmark pricing by putting it at about 3,000 to 3,200 PSF to begin with, meaning to say starting from the 40th floors and above, in a way you could have gotten a much lower PSF if you were much lower floors and if they created such unit, but in the end there isn't such a thing, cutting a group of own stay people out of Promenade Peak itself. This time around, Zyon Grand has this option that starts from the low floors. So before we begin, here are all the architectural illustrations and beautiful pictures of Zyon Grand and how the architect envisions it to be. Very beautiful, so exciting. Alright, so now we move on to the site plan analysis. Zyon Grand itself is actually the first development that has the SA2 component, which is a long-term service apartment component. That's why you will see 3 blocks of buildings here. The 2 blocks being the high-rise residential, and then of course the 3rd block on the right side here being a lower-rise service apartment. Okay, so we see from here actually the land itself is a very regular shaped land, very beautiful land, and this is how I actually envision the land to be used as well. Very regular, very spaced out, and just 2 iconic blocks. And then of course you can have all your facilities, the central facilities revolving around the 2 blocks, making family communal activities very, very effective. I think this is a very, very livable project, and with the emphasis on livability by the URA policies, I think they really did a very good job. Comes with a tennis court as well, and the placement of the tennis court is located in the most ideal location, being closest to the main road so that it can just blend in together with the white noise as well. It creates the buffer for block 3 itself, so that block 3 will be the furthest away from the main road so that they do not get any noise. And then of course you have block 5, probably that's where I will put it anyway. Next, we have the central facilities right in the center. You got this circular porch area that exudes a lot of grandeur and exclusivity in terms of the entrance area, the reception area, and then like as usual, all your facilities are centrally located. You got big lawn areas as well as pathways for your kids to run around. It's not too fragmented. Basically, the minute you walk in, it's big, open, airy space that is very conventional and traditional, and likely what CDL always sticks to. So orientation of the buildings, actually you will realize that it is a north-south facing. You will see stacks 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 all facing the north area, and then 2, 1 and 8 and 7 are facing the south areas. Alright, we'll use the site plan to also pinpoint what are the views. So we have the 3 bedroom premium plus study in both corners, stack 2 and stack 7. They will likely get the southern view. The southern views is actually the one that faces the central business district, Sentosa, as well as the Tiong Bahru market. If you go high enough, you can actually get a little bit of the sea view. So together with stack 1, which is a 4 bedroom / 5 bedroom, and stack 6, which is a 4 bedroom plus study or a 4 bedroom premium, then you will also get the southern views, which is the CBD view, as well as Sentosa. You get a bit of sea view if you go high enough. Now the smaller units, 3 bedroom, stack 3, and then stack 4, 2 bedroom premium plus study, stack 5, 2 bedroom, stack 6, 3 bedroom, stack 9, 3 bedroom, stack 10, 2 bedroom premium plus study, stack 11, the 1 bedroom, and stack 12, the 2 bedroom premium. Right, they all get the northern views, which is facing Promenade Peak itself, as well as Great World City, Iron Orchard, River Valley Primary School. So you get that part of the city skyline where the Orchard city skyline is. Right, of course, if you go lower floors, you will be blocked by Promenade Peak, or even if you go higher floors, because Promenade Peak itself is also the highest residential development in River Valley Township, you will also be kind of blocked by Promenade Peak itself. The bulk of the units that will be blocked mainly by Promenade Peak will be mainly stacks 3, 4, 5 and 6. Stack 9, 10, 11 and 12, because it cascades to the right side, you'll probably get a more open, unblocked view of this Orchard City skyline. Alright, so I think when you take your pick that time, I think based on this understanding and analysis itself, we can already tell which units might be the cheapest starting from units, because the ones blocked by Promenade Peak itself may be the ones that will form the low PSF that you may be probably seeing in the upcoming price prediction and starting from. So based on how I understand CDL, usually that's how they will do it. I think we will have stacks 3, 4, 5 and 6 being priced the lowest because that is exactly where we are closest to Promenade Peak itself. Stack 1, 2, 8 and 7 will probably be the highest starting PSFs. Stack 9, 10, 11, 12 will form probably the ones in the middle price range. So let's take a look when the launch date comes. Right, so in order to make it easy for you all to, we have superimposed the site plan onto the land itself with, of course, the Promenade Peak being right above Zyon Grand. So you can see how this block 3 itself is the closest to Promenade Peak, and it will probably be blocked entirely. Because the block is at a particular angle slanted to the right side, naturally it maximizes the open view that you can get towards the right side of things. But naturally, we can't avoid the fact that Promenade Peak is just above us lah. Then of course, like I said, the most premium view will be the ones in the other block where you are totally unblocked in that sense, but in a way you are also closer to the main road as well. So now we move on to the floor plan analysis. I think we can really trust CDL to maintain the integrity of the floor plans. So far I've never seen any surprising elements from them before, and let's hope this time round it remains the same, because a good floor plan enhances livability. With livability, the needs are met, there will always be natural demand, and the reason why CDL properties always perform sustainably, consistently and uniformly is because they ensure that their layouts are always very consistent. Traditionally, they have always been creating layouts that are livable. I mean, of course, there are some 1 or 2 outliners with many bay windows during the bay windows era. Otherwise, they have always been upholding livability as their #1 goal. So we look at the 1 bedroom plus study 474 square feet. These are stacked 11, 0211 to 6211. As we enter the main entrance, you are greeted by the galley kitchen, a little study room at the side opposite of the kitchen area, which can double up as a storage solution. As we move into the living room area, straightforward designated living and dining, and then of course the Jack and Jill access of the master bedroom to the toilet. So when you have guests over, you maintain your privacy. This is the #1 rule that I always tell everyone you must have whenever it comes to a 1 bedroom layout. Fortunately, all the requirements and prerequisites of a good 1 bedroom layout has already been met by CDL. Of course, you will get a little bit of structure feature. Thank goodness this is GFA harmonized, so that's why all these are not going to be eating into your livable space. And of course, they won't be charging you for that design. And of course, this one has no balcony at all, so all the space inside of the 474 square feet, you can really imagine how spacious this will be. You get a 3.5 meter wide master bedroom with 2.7 meters length or width, whatever. Alright, so in a way, very livable. And then of course, the facings are mostly facing the Orchard City skyline. We only have 1 stack of 1 bedroom. So next we move on to 2 bedroom, 538 square feet. Stack 5 faces the Orchard side, which is the Great World / Promenade Peak. First, we are greeted with the 538 square feet 2 bedroom stack 5 unit. This is a dumbbell layout 2 bed 1 bath unit. As you enter the main entrance, you are greeted by the galley kitchen, the designated dining area, living room, before you break out into the 2 bedrooms just like a usual dumbbell. Of course, we got a Jack and Jill access to the master toilet. Most important thing to take note, 538 square feet is all internal space, GFA harmonized, no balcony. So you can imagine again how much space there will be internally. Very livable, ideal for maybe small families or first-time buyers that want to kickstart their property journey within the River Valley area. Next, we move on to the other variation of 2 bedroom, the 2 bedroom premium, which is 646 square feet, stack 12. Now, stack 12 itself faces the northern part, which of course you get the Orchard City skyline. This happens to be in the block where it's not blocked by Promenade Peak, but it's closer to the main road. Okay, so as you enter the main entrance, you have this galley kitchen as well. Opposite the galley kitchen, you have the dining area. Now they're experimenting with something more effective. They use the usual long corridor space as you enter the main entrance to be used as the galley kitchen, and they of course overlap the spaces by placing the dining area just opposite it so that you cut the corridor spaces. This is a traditional 2 bedroom layout with the living room followed by the 2 bedrooms on the right side with the toilets running in parallel against it. Get a good balcony area. Alright, so one thing to take note, they have pretty thick walls. I think it's also because it's a high-rise 60 over stories. You gotta make sure that the walls are reinforced so that it can withstand nature as well. Alright, so next we move on to the next one. 2 bedroom premium plus study. It is a dumbbell layout, pretty much similar to what we saw just now for the 2 bed 1 bath. As we enter the main entrance, we have a study area we have an enclosable kitchen. I think this is one of the most attractive layouts that attracted me. Dumbbell layout, a designated dining area, living area, breaking out into 2 bedrooms on the left and the right side with the bathrooms running alongside it as well. So again, this is one big square being cut out into the designated areas. Can't really go that wrong. What I really like about this is the developer catering to the homestay needs as well, and they really try to make the layout very efficient by squeezing in a study area. With this study, it can act as a multi-purpose space. It can be actually a helper's room, a designated study, or even something else, a storage solution if you ever need so. This itself comes with the balcony. The facing itself, it's mainly on the northern side of things, which you get. Of course, if you are in the right side block, you will get the clearer Orchard City skyline. If you are in block 3 itself, then naturally you will be blocked by Promenade Peak. Next, we move on to the 3-bedroom layout. 818 square feet, block 3, stack 6. Again, faces the Orchard City skyline. They try their best not to be blocked by Promenade Peak. That's why they put the 3-bedroom 818 square feet in the right corner of that particular block. As we enter the main entrance, greeted by the galley kitchen with a bigger dining area, followed by your living room, followed by your balcony, and then of course the breakout to the 3 bedrooms on the right side. I think what I like about this layout is how they cascade the bedroom tree instead of running one long row like how we see at Promenade Peak. This one itself cuts the corridor space by putting bedroom 3 in this way so that it reduces the corridor space. Master bedroom, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, of course with the bathroom 2 running in parallel during the corridor space itself. I think this is as effective as it can get. The only downside of this 3-bedroom, it's 818 square feet. They couldn't squeeze in an enclosable kitchen. Basically, this is just another upgraded version of the 2-bedroom layout that we saw. Pros and cons: because of the lack of enclosable kitchen, this may not be an easy resale unit because, like I say, people buy 3 bedrooms is for their own stay. Naturally, when it comes to cooking, then they may really want to have an enclosed kitchen because it would meet the family needs. Imagine if you cook for 3 or 4 people with all the steam and the fumes flowing around in the house, it's not going to be pleasant. After every meal, your master bedroom will have a smell lingering within the master bedroom itself. Alright, so next we have the 3-bedroom deluxe, which is the 861 square feet. This one is also in both blocks, on the left corner of both blocks, facing the north side. Of course, you'll get the Orchard City skyline, but if you are being blocked by Promenade Peak, well, that's what it is. Alright, so as we enter the main entrance, you get your enclosed kitchen on the left, and then followed by a 5.45 meter long living room. Can fit a 6-seater dining set, and then naturally you have a 2.7 meter wide living room. Next, we move into the bedrooms. Again, they reduce the corridor space by cascading the 3rd bedroom instead of running it in one long corridor. This one itself reduces the corridor space, making space very effective. And that is why there are 3-bedroom deluxe. Right, it is kept to a 361 square feet. Now, this is what I will call it the usual 3-bedroom compact layout. That's what we have always been used to. The 818 square feet is definitely a compact, but it is a compact of the compact. Alright, so we move on. Of course, 3-bedroom plus study. This is the one that is more livable, that is more ideal for families. Alright, and then of course this one is in block 5 itself, and then the right corner unit facing the Marina Bay, CBD, as well as Sentosa area where you get your sea views if you go high enough. Coming in from the main entrance, you are greeted with the enclosed kitchen on the left, comes with its utility toilet. As we move on, you get your dining area, and then you get your living area. The powerful thing is this, what I really like about this is the study area, because they give you the flexibility of having a 3+ study, or you can convert it into a full landscape 3-bedroom layout, which is so rare today ever since GFA harmonization happened. One side of the bedroom, you have bedroom 3, can act as a multi-generational home, a junior suite in a way, and then you get a bomb shelter, and then of course on the right side you get the other 2 bedrooms, the master bedroom and the 2nd bedroom with the toilets running in parallel against it. I think this is as livable as it gets. I really like the flexibility that they offered you by giving the hackable study. We can see how we can use that space down there, and you can actually convert the entire space into a landscape layout with a separated dining area. Beautiful. This is what you will see in 5 bedrooms like Nava Grove or even Alta, but now you are getting it here in a 3-bedroom premium plus study in the best location with the best amenities. I think this is one of the layout that we should be looking out for. 1055 square feet, stack 7. this is my ideal one. Take note, everyone. Alright, so next we have the 3-bedroom premium plus study, 1076 square feet. Yeah, we were just analyzing to see where was the difference. The difference is actually you have a deeper living room. Instead of 5.4 meters, you got a 6 meters depth of living room. I think it just creates more space maybe in the dining area so that your dining will not be so cramped up. Else, it's just the space in between the dining and the sofa to create that bigger space in between both spaces. Yeah, that's all. Next, we have the 4-bedroom premium, getting very exciting down here. Comes with a private lift, looks into the dry kitchen, and then of course you are greeted by the landscape layout of the living and dining with the balcony running in parallel to the walls. And then the 3 bedrooms on the left with 1 junior master bedroom on the right, enclosed kitchen with a yard and utility and a WC. I mean, this is the best and the most ideal 4-bedroom premium layout that we have ever seen. As usual, you can really trust CDL to build such livable layouts, and this was what I was expecting from them. So what I really like about this layout as well is this. I also stay in a private lift 3-bedroom plus study. You see, usually when they do the private lift placement, it really comes out into the middle of your living room. So the minute your guests come in or yourself come in, or whoever, whenever the lift opens, yeah, you see your foyer area, but immediately straight into it, you see the living room. Because why? The private lift is in the center. Alright, what they did very well here is they tucked the private lift to the side, maximize the privacy. The minute it opens, the only thing you see is the dry kitchen area, exactly where you should be standing to receive your guest whenever you host. It shouldn't be a look in directly into your living room area, which this is what I really like about the private. And I think it will appeal to a lot of affluent people because this is what they always want whenever they buy 4 bedrooms and it comes to hosting and private lift layouts. 4 bedroom supreme. Step 1 is facing the south view. The south view again will get you the CBD view with the Sentosa view. Supreme. I don't know why I like to say that, but who uses this kind of name nowadays? But never mind, coming in, again the private lift. I like the placement so much. Dry kitchen area first, followed by the living room, dining room. The dining can fit 8-seater, exactly what I'm having at home, and it's beautiful. With the balcony running in parallel against it, you get a bigger junior master with the 3 other bedrooms on the right side running in parallel against it, a bigger utility room area as well. So the difference in spaces is the rooms are a bit bigger, the utility is a bit bigger, and then of course the master is a bit bigger. Here and there, the spaces are allocated respectively. I mean, honestly, as a consumer, I really wish that I had a chance to be able to buy this. The 4-bedroom here is better than my 3-bedroom plus study. In Novel 18, it's actually at 1,800 square feet, but now you're getting everything that I wished for and dreamed of in a 1421 square feet. The living room is still wider than my own living room. I'm jealous now. I'm honestly a bit jealous now. So, but yeah, see lah, I want freehold in the end like this lah. Okay, now we move on. 5-bedroom supreme. Then we move on. Coming from the private lift area, it mimics whatever the 4-bedroom has, just that at the junior master suite area, you have additional bedroom 5 there. Otherwise, everything else is the same. You get your same landscape layout, a bigger walk-in wardrobe in your master bedroom, a much longer one, and then yeah, this is facing the south side of things. Of course, then next we have another variation of the 4-bedroom, which is the 4-bedroom supreme plus study. Alright, so this one is facing the south side, is the other corner of the unit of that block. Everything is the same, pretty much the same, just that you have one extra study area outside the junior master suite. You can build a door there, and this one will form the walk-in wardrobe for the junior master suite. Else it can really double up as the study area for the occupants staying in the junior master. I think this is very lovely because there's a multi-purpose space for this, and they can really customize and maximize the privacy of how they want. It's a good multi-generation home. As your kids get older and all, they would start to have their own space, and having this junior room itself can actually, with the study, can actually double up as really their own study area or their own walk-in wardrobe space. This is how luxury it can get. So next we move on, of course we get the penthouse. This is how the penthouse layout would look like. A dream come true, really. I wish I can own one. This is the other penthouse variation that we have. So I think for the layouts, there's nothing much to complain about. We have seen it all. CDL has maintained its credibility and integrity in terms of layout. No surprises. I mean, a few things that I may not like as much is probably the 3-bedroom 818 square feet, where it still consists of that galley kitchen. I mean, we have seen other projects where they were able to give a small but yet functional and closable space. I think they could have done better there. And of course, for the smaller 2-bedroom units like the 2-bedroom premium or the 2-bedroom unit itself, that long galley kitchen that I've also seen other developments like River Green, although being small, they were able to give an enclosable kitchen as well. I think the ones that you can go for is the 2-bedroom plus study, the 3-bedroom deluxe. I think it's a good 3-bedroom compact unit, and then of course the 3-bedroom premium plus study. I think anything above the 3-bedroom premium plus study, they are all ideal and perfect, truly livable. I'm jealous. I want one. I think you all can feel it. Alright, so now we move on to why I would not buy Zyon Grand. So of course, acting as a consumer today, being in the central region properties as well, I personally will have a few pointers of why I would not buy. Of course, this segment itself is not to downplay the entire development or throw shade on it. No, definitely not. It's just us acting as a consumer, alright, to of course assess the place, and that's why you all watch my videos, right? So but definitely it's not to say the developer is not good or what, but we are just trying to play the devil's advocate, the pros and cons, so that we can make a good evaluation. First of all, why I would not buy Zyon Grand is actually the oversupply in the area. By now you would have seen the likes of Upper House, Robertson Opus, River Green, as well as Promenade Peak. That is 4 developments. We still have Sky at Holland, we still have Zyon Grand, and of course we still have the one in front of River Green, which is by Guko Land. Right, likely it's going to be called River Modern or something like that, but let's take a look at what's the name it's going to be called. So with about 7 to 8 new launches in the central region properties, and they are all probably going to be TOPing in the same time, we can actually imagine how it will be like when it comes to the resale market. If you are a buyer in the resale market 4 to 5 years down the road, you'll be probably spot buy choices. And the thing is this, their layouts have been quite differing so far, with Promenade Peak having a set of their own layouts, River Green being in their own spectrum. In a way, I would say that there is some choices and comparisons within the central region properties when it comes to the resale market. So in a way, depending on what you are buying, if you're buying the 1 and 2 bedrooms for rentability, I think it is what it is. There is a lot of 2 bedrooms in this area flooded from all the new launches. Even when it comes to the 3 and 4 bedrooms, right, there will still be a little bit more supply and choices to choose from. But in a way, you do separate yourself because of an integrated development. But in a way, the integrated development itself also may separate point to it as well, because why? When it's integrated development means there will be a certain premium to it, and that leads to my point 2, the integrated development premium that will entail because of this status. It has always been publicly known that being an integrated development or a mixed development would entail certain premiums to it, because you're paying for a lot of the convenience, the amenities that it brings you. The mixed development premium is true. So it's pretty much really dependent on what Zyon Grand is going to be launching at. From what I hear, it's going to be about 2,700 to 2,800 PSS starting from. So if it is a 60 something story building, meaning to say if we just add $15 to $20 per square foot, $20 times 60 floors will be 1,200 PSF difference, meaning to say if we launch at 2,700 PSF today, we may see it ending at 4,000 PSF even. I mean, I may just be exaggerating down here, but we can see from here the premium that an integrated development with high rise that may come along. So entry price may be a concern down here. So here's the third factor why I will not buy Zyon Grand. There is an untested SA2 component. This is a pilot program ran by the Singapore government. This is the only development that has a separated long-term service apartment block. Probably that's why they are given a slightly lower land bid price. But in order to mitigate this risk, the developers may actually put certain cost or higher cost into the residential portion so that they balance out their risk and do their dollar averaging properly. So in a way, then contributes to point number 2, which is the higher pricing premium that you get from being an integrated development. Of course, with this SA2 component, like what I mentioned in my previous videos before, I'm a person that values privacy and exclusivity. Being in an area, although it's a different block, you will still see random people or strangers coming in. The footfall will be higher definitely. If you are looking for something more exclusive with more privacy, then this may not be the place for you. I think definitely there will be more detailed planning in terms of the separation of crowds and the footfall. Definitely, I think the developer would do their best to avoid the residents bumping into the strangers or the residents that are moving into the long-term service apartment. I think definitely there is some planning that goes into it, but after all, you know you are coming back to a development that shares the compound with other people or with strangers who don't stay in this residential development permanently. So with that in mind, then it comes the question of security. I mean, we are in Singapore, so we don't have to worry about that. But then it's about the privacy and exclusivity. I'm not sure, have you been to Revere before? If you have been to Revere before, they run a similar concept. The thing is this, even from your own premises, you will be able to see strangers walking in and out of the commercial component. Then it really depends on how do you feel about that. I've met people within the District 9, my clients and consumers, they themselves say that they value privacy a lot more. They don't even want other people to know where they stay, then let alone some random stranger that can freely enter the compound because of a SA2 component. So to add on to the SA2 component, this may be a concern for investors who are buying this development for rental yield as well, because naturally this one has an internal component that is posing as competition to your rental. People have the option of going for a service apartment where there are services like cleaning, laundry, so on and so forth that will be catered to these people who are staying at this long-term service apartment. If you are looking for yield, I'm not sure whether this might actually pose as a competition to your yields. It creates more supply and it creates more competition. In that sense, not sure does it pose as an impact to those people who are thinking about renting out. Because why? Usually investors who buy mixed development, they know that the yield will be higher because it caters to the expatriates' needs of convenience and amenities. But right now, you have one component that is run by the developer itself to be competing with you. I think who can do it better? The person with the resources, such as a developer, or yourself who is a strata title owner? I think we all can think about this in a way as well. Alright, so next, of course, finally, this is one of the last 2 plots of land that will be launching. If you are the developer and you know you are the last 2 plots of land, right, how would you actually be pricing your unit? So again, this contributes to the second pointer just now. Now we move on to why I will buy Zyon Grand. First of all, I'm really very excited about this development. I must say that this one lives up to the pinnacle of the luxury. So first of all, of course then is on the product itself, which is the ideal layouts that we are going to get. I think for CDL, they have actually taken the approach of blending both spectrums together. I mean, we can see from there, River Green itself took the other scale of the spectrum, which is to cater to small units. For Promenade Peak itself, the layouts weren't too impressive. They tried to go for a usual conventional residential development, but in the end, some of their layouts, like the 3-bedroom with that gun shape and very long corridor, is not gonna cut out, I tell you. So I think with the CDL superiority in terms of layouts and their experience in building very, very iconic developments, they have learned how to balance between architecture, design versus livability and efficiency of layout, and I think they have done a good job. So I think CDL's developer strategy has blended in best of both worlds, which is having that kind of units that cater to River Green's spectrum. That's why you get the 1+ study, you get the small 2-bedrooms, the 2-bed 1-baths with the galley kitchen, as well as the 3-bedroom compact of the compact. Alright, it is to cater to that group of people, that niche group of buyers who really want to be staying into the River Valley area. And now, most importantly, they get one more added advantage, which is a mixed use or rather integrated development. So I think it caters to that one group, and it caters to the affluent group of consumers as well, because there are 4-bedroom layouts, there are 3-bedroom layouts. Basically, if you want to look for a good 3, 4 and 5-bedroom layout, you only have one choice to choose from, which is Zyon Grand itself. Because if we compare side by side between the Promenade Peak layout, 4 bedrooms, as well as the Zyon Grand, as we can see in this diagram down here, we can see from here, Zyon Grand's livability of the 4 bedrooms clearly reflects the superiority in terms of experience, building of layout, as well as the blend of architecture. Alright, so not only that, they really want to plant themselves in the River Valley area to have that very iconic look. They actually reflect the same designs as what they were doing before, such as New Futura. If you put New Futura and Zyon Grand side by side, you will realize that actually the designs are pretty much similar. I think what CDL is trying to do down here is of course to create that same statement that they have always been creating, but to me it is the superiority in terms of the layout efficiency that really attracts me, and I think it will form a clear exit strategy in the future, because in a way the only other choice to choose from in River Valley area is only Zyon Grand itself, if you ever wanted a 3, 4 and 5 bedrooms, because there are flaws within surrounding developments such as Promenade Peak 3 bedroom as what we have just seen here. So now we move on to the second point why I will buy Zyon Grand. It is of course the lower land bid prices due to the experimental SA2 component that of course attracted CDL to come and bid for this land. I mean, they are probably the oldest developer in Singapore. Who else actually to experiment and pilot this program? I think they are the ones that are right one, and I think of course government can see it too, and that's why they allowed the bid to happen. But of course if we look at the bid itself, the bid is at 1202 per square foot per plot ratio, right, which is actually lower than the land bid price of Promenade Peak itself. So side by side, but Zyon Grand's land bid pricing is actually lower. I mean, you got to be rewarded for the risk that you take, and I think the government is willing to allow this to happen a little bit. Of course, definitely because of that extra component, it may seem like things will be cheaper, but if you are the developer, you definitely need to mitigate a little bit of the risk. It will not cause too much instability in the prices, definitely, and that's why the government allowed the bid to happen. Cannot be I have Promenade Peak land that is more expensive and then a Zyon Grand land that is cheaper, and then it will cause instability in prices between both lands. I think of course the government rewards the developer that they took up in piloting this SA2 program that the government is going for. Alright, but with that in mind, the government is also confident that the developer that buys over this land will not skew the prices too much. Naturally, they are taking on some risk, so they will mitigate in their launch price. So it will bring the launch price close to what the land beside offers, but maybe just get a little bit of a better positioning in terms of prices. With that in mind, the difference is this. What we see differently in terms of the unit composition is this. I mean, for the 1 and 2 bedrooms, probably the Zyon Grand is able to get a little bit more competitive pricing because of the lower land bid price. And of course, as it goes up higher and higher, the usual pricing premium for floor loading would occur. The difference is this. Between Promenade Peak as well as Zyon Grand, you will see that the 3, 4 and 5 bedrooms, they can start from the low floor. Meaning to say, the developer does not force you to take something at the 40th floor and pay for a premium immediately, because the floor loading counts up. So there is a chance that the quantum for a bigger unit may be even lower than Promenade Peak itself, and that is a very attractive point, because you can still enjoy the perks and advantage of such a superior layout, but yet you start from the low floor, capitalizing on the lower PSF. So imagine you just start off from the low floor at 2.8 PSF or 2.9 PSF, and you really can own that layout that we see from here. So if we count the quantum based on a 1421 square feet 4 bedroom premium with private lift, it's 4.1 mil. Starting from low floor, you get the advantage of this superior layout, maybe some sacrifice at the view, but you get it at 4.1, 4.2 mil possibly, as compared to Promenade's Peak 40th story 4.5 to 4.8 mil. In a way, you can see the quantum at play down here already. So if you are a family moving into River Valley area and you say, I want to be in River Valley, but when Promenade Peak launch, I don't have 4.5 mil. Hey, I got a 4.1, 4.2 mil here, 4 bedroom waiting for you. And don't forget, the 3 bedroom premium plus study equivalent at Promenade Peak also starts from the 40th story. It's only the normal 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom compact then is below. Alright, and those layouts weren't so ideal to begin with in Promenade Peak anyway. But if we look at Zyon Grand, we take a 3 plus study, 1055 square feet or 1076 square feet times again 2900 PSF starting from. Hey, you only get 3 mil. Right, as compared to what we are getting at the other side is 3.5 to 3.8 mil. You can see the quantum play here, and here you have options because they started from the low floors to slowly climb up as compared to Promenade Peak, which starts from the 40th story and above. You get better price positioning here, you get better quantum down here, and most importantly, you get a far more superior product and superior layout. Furthermore, to add to this land bid pricing, actually if we see Zyon Grand being launched at 1202 per square foot per plot ratio as compared to Ori's 1360 per square foot per plot ratio land bid, as compared to Alta's land bid price of 1250 per square foot per plot ratio. Wow, Zyon Grand is really getting a good deal here. As we always say, just because they bought the land cheap doesn't mean they are going to sell cheap, but at least you know there's an overlapping prices between the regions itself, and you know you are getting a good deal here at Zyon Grand itself. So just nice, the price gap between a CCR, or rather a central region property, versus a RCR property and OCR property, the gap has narrowed down to less than 10%. Isn't this a key opportunistic point for you to take note of? Now, my third pointer, the sustainability of an integrated development. It is always a double-edged sword to own an integrated development like this. So because of the integrated premium that you pay, but thankfully because of the low land bid price, this mitigates it. Alright, then naturally you still pay some premium, but the premium isn't as big as how we were used to before. Alright, last time we would see the premiums being about 400 to 500 PSF or even 1000 PSF more just because it's an integrated development. Now the gap is a lot smaller. So of course, if you are buying something to plan to hold in the long term anyway, to find something like Zyon Grand is really difficult. Alright, then naturally I think Zyon Grand to hold for long term is actually a very good option, because here I have a few charts that showcases the sustainability of prices in terms of having a mixed development. First of all, we have Bedok Residences, which actually is on top of the Bedok Mall itself. We can see the price chart itself, there was some stagnation in between. Alright, so we have Bedok Residences itself with the first 6 to 7 years being quite stagnant, as we can see from this chart, but ever since from then onwards we see an upward trend despite it being a 10-year-old development. Next, we have Watertown that follows a similar trend, as we can see from the charts down here. So we can really count on the mixed development or integrated development to sustain prices, because why? It constantly meets the needs of residents, right? It meets the convenience needs, it meets the transportation needs, it meets majority of what a family needs in terms of amenities, convenience, whatever that you need to have is all right below you. So that's why as the prices and the market continue to catch up, as income continues to align with housing prices, people will start to compare. If I'm already paying for this amount for a normal residential development, why not I just pay for the mixed development or integrated development, but yet get the best of many worlds? And that's why you see the sustainability of prices in the long-term run. You'll get some short-term gains definitely, right? Because all these examples that I showed you before have actually wide price gaps as compared to normal full-fledged residential developments. But right now, with the gap being so narrow, am I right to say again, this is an opportunity in terms of entry price, but yet enjoying the same long-term sustainability as what we have seen in Bedok Residences as well as Watertown. Alright, so we have another one that shares the similar attribute, which is Midtown Modern, which is actually on the Bugis MRT, right on top of Bugis MRT, with some shops, with a few level of shops, similar to what we have here at Zyon Grand. Many people would think that, ayo, this one will have a premium being placed on it. Actually, if you remember, this was one of the projects that were sold out 70 to 80% on the first day, citing very attractive prices because the gap between a normal residential full-fledged development versus a mixed development has narrowed so much. And if we look at the profitability, there's about 10 transactions so far, because some of them haven't reached their SSD. But I want you to note something. 2 bedrooms itself, 721 square feet, level 12, Stack 18, was bought 19 March 2021 on the first day of launch and sold 3rd March 2025 at a PSF of 3312 PSF at a pricing of 2.388 mil. At 800 PSF profit, a 577k profitability. Wow, for a 2 bedrooms. How often do you see such profitability in terms of 2 bedrooms? And this is exactly getting in at the right entry price with the best of many worlds of an integrated development. And the key thing to take note is this: if this is able to transact at 3312 PSF, same attributes just in a different location. We have Zyon Grand right now starting at 29 PSF, a resale at 3300 PSF being 400 PSF higher than a new development. Isn't this another key opportunity that you all can take note of? Because the mixed development resale is already transacting so much higher. That also creates precedence for you to draw reference from, that Zyon Grand is a renewed opportunity for you to enter and take advantage of, especially you are in the midst of the changing policy of the GFA harmonization. Just nice, they drop the quantum for you, get you into the right entry pricing. By right, with a GFA harmonization, your PSF is supposed to be higher. In the way, you are still lower than a resale development that hasn't been harmonized at all. This is a convergence of the best of many worlds that you can find here at Zyon Grand. Finally, to wrap up, within this whole cluster itself, we are the largest plot of land. Alright, why is this so important? It's also because I've been in the District 9, District 10 and central location properties. What you realize is this: the land size affects the value sustainability. If you realize there are many developments within the area that has only a small plot of land with one tower standing tall. The key thing is this: there is no landscaping, there's very little landscaping, little communal activities for family communal needs. The thing is this: the affluent people that buy these areas for own stay values family communal activities a lot, just like how every other family in the mass market values all these spaces. The thing is this: in the recent years, because of the lack of URA policies governing all of this, the plots of land do not have strong extensive facilities. They do not have good lawn areas for kids to run around to cater to family needs. And upgraders who come in from other locations, they see the products that are currently within the central areas or orchard areas. They say, why do I work so hard, make the money that I make, finally I get to upgrade into the central region, but yet I have to sacrifice my family lifestyle because of the lack of family communal activities. Alright, with that in mind, Zyon Grand being the biggest plot of land solves this problem. And like what I always mentioned before in my CCR videos, this is the chance where the government is making use of to change the whole landscaping of the properties in the central region. Finally, now you work so hard for your money to create a better life for your kids and for your family. You decide you want to upgrade from the mass market areas into the central region properties. You look at the products now, you say, my family can stay here. It's not such a big sacrifice. I work hard, I deserve to be rewarded, and now I'm being rewarded with one of the best products, the biggest lands. I don't have to sacrifice my family needs. There will be a natural demand coming in, and this will result in the livability is met, the needs are met, and that's why you will always have a strong natural demand, and that is what keeps prices sustainable, and that is what we are going to see at Zyon Grand. I'm going to quote you a few more examples, such as Ardmore Park. It being so old, at 20 years old already, you see the sustainability of prices for so long. Because why? The land sizes are big. We see Four Seasons Park Residences or Four Seasons Residences. The same thing. These are your two signature trademark names that you always hear within the orchard area. The only reason why they are there, the big land size. Next, of course, we can compare to more recent examples like Midtown Modern. Midtown Modern itself, it is a 99 leasehold land. Yeah, okay, fine. But take note, it is sitting on a big land plot, and that's why you see the sustainable prices today. We see Rivergate itself going through the test of time, going through COVID, going through the Lehman Brothers, so on and so forth. To them, they are still experiencing price sustainability today. So we must take note, the land size itself is the key thing to ensure luxury is kept, exclusivity is kept, but most importantly, the family communal needs are met, and that's why you will always have that natural demand there. Your prices will always be sustainable. Alright, let's move on to the final verdict of Zyon Grand. I think it is a wonderful and spectacular product that is created by CDL, and it really encompasses all of their experience in the luxury property market. This is something that marks the iconic start to the River Valley Township, and I think the layouts that they have designed really caters to the family communal needs, that caters to the group of people that will be upgrading from the RCR HDBs or the mass market condominiums. Finally, there is a space being created for these people to upgrade into, especially for people in Woodley residences or the Bidadari estates that are already spot in terms of their lifestyle and choices, and now finally there is a place where they can really upgrade to and meet the replacement cost in that sense, or replacement needs in that sense. So just like my previous video that we have mentioned before, we just take for example the RCR HDB population, taking consideration from Kallang, Whampoa, as well as the Dawson area, Queenstown area, and the Bidadari area together with the Tiong Bahru, Queenstown area. HDB population of all of this added together is probably about 356,900, and then we say 10% of these people come out to upgrade. So we have 35,690 people coming out to upgrade, and we divided by the average household size of 3.11, we will need 11,475 units. The key thing to take note is this: within the whole River Valley cluster, we only have 2,208 units available. Next, of course, you mentioned that while 10% upgraders, that's a lot. Let's say 5% upgraders come out, we have 17,845 residents. Divided by the average household size of 3.11, we will still need 5,737 units. As compared to the 2,208 units present in the River Valley area, the key thing to ask is, are we even creating that many or not? Alright, so I think that the oversupply issue won't be an oversupply issue. I think the government has made careful calculations in terms of the demand and supply numbers. I've also heard from consumers on the ground, there has been a pent-up demand. It's been a very long while since there's a new launch coming out in the River Valley area, ever since this cluster came about, and I think we all understand the needs of consumers as well. There are certain requirements that if I just can't get a particular development within a particular district, I won't buy and I'll wait it out. And it's true enough, it has been reflected in the consumer behavior in terms of the sales performance of Upper House, Robertson Opus, as well as River Green with 80% sold on the first day, as well as Promenade Peak with 60% sold on the first day. There is many consumers waiting on the sidelines for products to be coming out in the River Valley area, and it is finally coming here. So I think you will still face quite a strong demand in terms of the launch of Zyon Grand, given the superiority as well as the layout. Finally, there is a layout that is good enough to cater to the affluence needs within this area. So secondly, of course, will be the integrated development status, like what we mentioned about the double-edged sword that we mentioned just now. I mean, of course, if you are already moving from a Tiong Bahru HDB or a Ghim Moh HDB or the Bidadari estate, you are already spot in terms of your lifestyle. You have your mall opposite you, you have the MRT right below, you have your food court, your heartland activities, all within 5 minutes walking distance. Naturally, the only choice to go for, the only better choice or a better upgrade to go for is a mixed development where it is as close as it gets. Anything more, you need to set up the store or the MRT right in front of your door. Alright, otherwise this is as good as it gets, and in a way it does mitigate that mixed development. And the key thing to take note is this: who is the ones buying properties today? The younger generation. So gone are the days of such a huge requirement of privacy already. They are used to convenience. They value accessibility more than their own personal privacy, because they get that privacy in their own unit already. And for the newer generation, within the home itself, that is their own personal space. Otherwise, they value a lot more of the convenience. If they can just get down to go and buy something, that is a perk for them already. So gone are the days of a need of absolute privacy where we are totally secluded and enjoying the exclusivity. I think it is a change in terms of the society as well as the progression of the society, where we are seeing younger generation coming out to buy. Their needs have changed and they are getting used to, and in fact fond of, the kind of integrated development lifestyle. Of course, we may argue that, wow, this is the last plot of land, CDL might want to take advantage of it given the kind of sales performance that has happened before in the previous launches the last few months. Well, I think given how CDL is like, definitely what they are going for is the momentum. I think based on their previous track record, they have always been pricing their developments sensitively, because why? To them, they value movement, they value momentum. They want the project to move so that they can go on to the next projects and the next land biddings, right? They are businessmen themselves, and they have been in the business for more than 30 to 40 years or even 50 years, all right? They are the longest standing developer in Singapore. The key thing is this, they want things to move. So likelihood, they will be more focused on the per floor loading as well as the dollar averaging strategy. Start off low to bring in the hype, especially with such a superior product. Let the momentum and hype drive the movement, right? Like what I always mention in my previous videos, sometimes the projects don't move, people automatically think that the product is a bad product. Not true, There are many products that move on the first day itself, also results in poor resaleability, such as the M. Alright, but the thing is this, for CDL, what they value movement, they value momentum. So they would want to have a good start, let the hype drive it, and of course automatically the sales will move on its own. So I don't think they will price it too high at the beginning, but naturally there will be certain loadings because of certain premiums such as the facings, the better views, so on and so forth. So of course they don't want another scenario like how Bloomsbury is. Bloomsbury was just nice because of the Trump tariff war announcement that hindered the movement. Is it a bad product? No, it's not, because now we see every week we are selling about close to 10 to 15 units weekly. So it is the momentum. And I want to quote you another example. There is another development by Far East, which is at Aurea. Because of poor pricing strategy at the start, it is a good product as well. You can get 2 bedrooms at about 1.8 mil in a CCR development. I think it's okay, but because of the poor momentum, people deem it as not so ideal product and end up it's not moving today. So I think that CDL will not be falling into this trap. I've seen their track record. They always want movement and momentum, especially on the first day. Get it going. Alright, just like how they get it going in Ori. So all in all, to wrap it up for you, I think Zyon Grand is a very superior product. Finally, it really lives up to the luxury developments that I'm expecting to see in the River Valley Township. Finally, there's one that really lives up to it, and I'm so happy. There will be a very clear exit strategy for you from the future resale buyers, from the RCR HDBs, from the first-time buyers, from the people who seek affluence, the multi-generation that has been waiting for such a superior product within the River Valley Township. Your exit strategy is actually quite clear because it caters to the different spectrum of audience as compared to how other developers play the game, such as River Green, where they are only focusing on a very niche market of keeping quantum low. Alright, and then I would say that naturally, in terms of pricing strategy, you get a much better quantum if you go for a bigger unit because it starts from the low floor. You get the most reputable developer, which is CDL, who always upholds layout integrity. You will not get any surprises. You will not get any erratic pricing because of lousy layouts or surprising layouts, which is the most important part, and that's what I talk about in terms of integrity. All in all, entry price, because of the low land bid price itself, contributes to a safer entry but clear exit strategy with a superior developer with superior products and layouts. I think this will be a very safe development to enter, whether you're looking for own stay or investment, because a mixed development generally has also higher rental yields. If you like our content so far, remember to like, share and subscribe. I hope I've given you different viewpoints. It's just me being very genuine down here, giving you a different perspective and insight of what I think a development is. No scenario is the same. I have all the answers to your scenarios and I can cater to you given my 16 years of experience. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and also contact me at 94569398 if you want something to be catered to you. And I look forward to communicating with you, because it's not just about a work transaction, it is also a building relationship with all of my audiences out there. See you in the next one in the Essentials channel.